Hi, everyone. This is Hal Krosman with Screenwriting U, and today we're going to be looking at intriguing character relationships. Now, this is something that, a lot of times people don't think about this. They think about and create characters, and they spend a lot of time on that. And then they put the characters together and they're doing whatever they're doing. But what's the relationship between those characters? Right? What is it that's deeper that's going on? What's triggering those characters and causing them to interact with the other person in a different way because of whatever's happened within their relationship up to this point? Now, let me just kind of walk you through this, but as we're going through it, I want you to be asking yourself this question. What can we do that will elevate your ability to be an amazing character writer? Be thinking about that all the way through this. This isn't just about show and tell. It's not just about getting a chance to see what somebody else thinks about, Batman and the Joker. If you get down to it, every single thing that we're doing here is about helping people become stronger writers, become more successful. But today is specifically about this. What can we do that will elevate your ability to be an amazing character writer? So let's just see. We're going to start with an analysis of Batman Joker, the interrogation scene. I hope you had a chance to watch that. If you didn't, don't worry, I'll walk you through it here. But it's an incredible scene. We'll then talk about intriguing relationships, because that's what the whole purpose of the day is on that. We'll look at what does it take to create great characters, and my answers to it may be different than the ones that you have, so it'll give you a chance to look and see it from a different perspective. And then we'll talk about the upcoming class, Character Mastery, that is a completely different kind of character class than you've ever been through in your life, and will give you deeper insights than you've ever had in your life having to do with characters. We created this specifically for that one thing. So let's jump into this. We've got this interrogation scene, and I'm just going to walk you through it here one step at a time. The scene structure, it starts with the Joker. He's sitting in the dark. He's being questioned by the police commissioner. The commissioner says, Harvey Dent never made it home. What have you done with him? Then he suddenly unlocks the handcuffs. Now, by the way, I'll tell you the line that Joker said in just a little bit. Then it turns out Batman is behind him, slams his head on the table. Batman is enraged. He's interrogating him. It's not going well. Joker is explaining his version of reality, which is absolutely worth going back and listening to again to see what you discover there. Joker then says they're the same. They're both freaks. Batman supporters will turn on him. Batman has had enough. He gets violent. The Joker taunts him, causing more violence, which is an interesting move. Then the Joker finally gives in, presenting the dilemma. Batman can only save one of them, either Harvey Dent or Rachel. The other one will die. So the arc of this scene, by the way, is we go from not knowing where Harvey Dent is to the Joker revealing that both Harvey Dent and Rachel both are about to die. So interesting scene. I haven't even given you really anything other than just describing the blow by blow kind of scenario here. But let's start looking at this from an ironic perspective. The Joker's in jail, but he's in control. Now, Batman actually thinks he's in control. Batman thinks he has this, but the truth is the interrogation goes exactly how the Joker wants it to go. And when you have that kind of thing where first it's an ironic scene, second, one character is convinced of one thing and the other one actually has control, it's like the audience gets to experience a lot of depth there. Batman is dominating the Joker, but he is afraid and desperate. Now, let's be clear. I don't think he's afraid of the Joker in this moment. He's afraid of what's about to happen to Harvey Dent. And he doesn't know that, that Rachel also has been taken. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Batman is clearly desperate. He needs to get this information now. He doesn't have a choice. The Joker is the bad guy, but he's the only one who truly understands the Batman. That's amazing. When, again, go back and listen to how he explains reality to Batman, and you'll go, oh, wow. He gets things that other people don't get. There's stuff going on under the surface here that's incredible. Let's look at the intrigue. First, the Joker has planned this from the beginning, right? And even if you don't get that in the beginning, by the end of the scene, you have a pretty good idea. And by what happens next, you know he planned this whole thing. He's in jail on purpose. The clock is ticking down. 2 people are going to die, or very likely going to die, as the Joker is pushing the Batman to the brink. So even though it looks like if you were watching this scene without any of the dialogue, without knowing what's going on, you'd probably say Batman's got this thing 100% in control. The truth is Batman has no control over what's happening here. None. He doesn't even have control over his own emotions. And you got to be asking, what kind of game is the Joker playing? Right? And again, just keep noticing, this is really amazing writing. This scene is not some, we're just going to see the regular thing where the cop beats up on the guy until the guy gives up the information. And the guy who's given up the information is now in this weak, spot and has done the one thing he didn't want to do. This is, the Joker set this whole thing up. He's in control from the beginning. He's doing exactly what he wants to do. He is holding Batman hostage until it's too late for him to be able to save both of those people. And this is all just a game that he's playing. So let's look at the Joker for a moment, and then we'll take a look at Batman. He's the trickster, right? He's unpredictable, clearly a psychopath. He speaks with a profound, twisted logic. And by the way, I've seen the other Joker movies, and yes, that each one of those Jokers was unique and interesting, and they said crazy things and all that kind of thing. But this one was the first one where he was profound, where he was delivering things that challenged Batman to his core. So that makes a difference. He loves messing with people's heads, as we know. He sizes up their character quickly, and he loves putting people in emotional dilemmas, which we see in this scene. This is it's an incredible example of creating an emotional dilemma and forcing the person to be so desperate that whatever the choice they make, it's going to be wrong. Now, let's go further. He answers questions with tricks, right? Where's Harvey? He says, what's the time? Because depending upon the time, he may be in one spot or several. And he does that. He actually does that multiple times in here. Intrigue here. He's being locked up, and really, while Batman's torturing him, he's actually torturing the Batman. That's interesting. Connection. He expresses Batman's true nature, and just for a moment, I thought Batman was going to get it. I thought Batman was going to see that. And maybe he did. But it's like, the Joker is the only one I've seen so far that really gets down deep into the kinds of insights into who Batman is. And this was the scene that did it. And then disruption. This is the other part of what he does. He loves to disrupt people. In this case, he's casting doubt on everything that makes sense in Batman's life. He's casting doubt on the police, how they're going to treat him. He's casting doubt on whether Batman really is doing something good or not. He's also saying they're the same, right? How can Batman deal with that? They're the same. Wow. So Batman's got this savior complex going on. He's on a mission to save Gotham, to save Rachel, to save Harvey Dent. He thinks he's doing all the right things. He's completely exasperated. He clearly is enraged in this particular situation. He is being violent for a good reason, right? So, and that's part of his shtick, right? It's part of his brand. He's the good guy who's being violent against the bad guys and that kind of thing. But the identity that the Joker gives him here, I think is correct. He's a freak just like Joker. And in this situation and what's happening in this particular movie, he's starting to see that people see him that way. In the beginning, they were seeing him as this amazing savior. By this point, almost nobody's wanting to work with him. People are exiting because they think he's gone off. So, all of this creates an intriguing relationship. And these are things you want to be thinking about, by the way. You want to be seeing, the stuff that's happening under the surface. Instead of just looking at one character and the other standing in a room and a situation going on, what's their relationship? So let me give you a definition here. It's the way in which two or more people are connected and regard or behave toward each other. So we're seeing these two are connected. They are connected. The only way that Harvey gets found is by these two coming to some kind of an agreement. They're also connected in this cat and mouse game and everything that's going on with that. Let's see what else we have here. Their purpose. Batman and Joker are locked into a competitive relationship where one wins by causing the other to lose, right? And they can't get out of it. Now, maybe the Joker could get out of it. In this case, he can't. He's in jail right this moment. But maybe the Joker could get out of it, but I don't think the Batman can on this. The conflict. Batman is torturing Joker to get information. Joker is torturing Batman with this emotional dilemma. I think that's interesting. Normally, this kind of conflict would only go one way, and we'd be waiting to see how long could the criminal hold out, right? When is he going to give up the information, and that kind of thing. But the truth is this one looks like that, and then it turns out no, the Joker conned the Batman in this situation. They have conflicting agendas. Batman's there to dominate the Joker into confessing. The Joker is there to manipulate Batman into making public mistakes. And by the way, the first mistake that's really happening here is the Joker is stalling until the point at which it's too late for Batman to save both of them. So again, the Joker's in control. Disruption, we talked about this a moment ago, but it's worth looking into this relationship. The Joker is casting doubt on everything that makes sense in Batman's life, and it's at a the perfect moment to do it. Batman is in this difficult emotional state. People have turned against him. He doesn't have very many even police friends anymore. And so at this moment, the things the Joker is saying actually have more of an impact. Both need something from the other for different reasons. Batman needs Joker to save info to save the day. Joker needs Batman in order to play his tricks. So I think it's really interesting to look at how this whole thing goes down. And then they both have a common enemy, right? So this is something that kind of brings them together in a way. Both are being attacked by the establishment. The Batman has never had this kind of situation before where people have turned against him so badly, And the irony, again, the one who's torturing is out of control. The one who is locked up and tortured is in control of everything. Now, actually, there's one more thing here. And then this insight. And there was a whole bunch of insight in there. Again, if you go watch some of Joker's dialogue, if you listen to it, you'll see he's got deep insight into who Batman is on a whole different level than we ever expected. But here he says, he just kind of brings it all down to one thing. We're both the same, but we're both freaks. It's like, that's kind of one of those wow moments. I don't think Batman wants to accept that, but it's really looking like it's true. Now, let me just talk just a little bit about what we've just seen, because the more you can understand it, the more you can see it, the better off. First, this is just a talking head scene. If you get down to it, what we've got two people in a room by themselves talking, just a talking head scene, right? And if they were having a normal kind of character conversation, we would say, so what? But they're not. There's also action built into it, right? And the action itself has significant meaning. And this is, there are multiple levels on which you want to build these kinds of scenes, and you want to build these kinds of character relationships. The action here is Batman is going to torture Joker until he gives up the information. That's the action that's happening right in front of us. Then they added the intrigue, right? What's Joker's game? What's really going on, right? And it starts from the very beginning when he says, the police commissioner asked where Harvey Dent is, and he says, it depends on the time. Depending on the time, he could be in one place or a bunch of them, right? And it's like, okay, he's hiding something. There's something going on under the surface. That's one level of intrigue, but there's actually more than that. But let me just pause and point to one other thing. And what made this scene great was the insight the writer had, right? He's got insight, and that was Christopher Nolan and his brother, insight into, who these characters are, what makes them extreme characters, how they're going to show up in this particular relationship. And he's also got deep insight into how we could perceive Batman in a completely different way, or at least see the Batman through Joker's perception. So this scene wouldn't have been written without that insight. And this is what, a lot of times people are looking for, how do I make my characters better? How do I make my scenes better? How do I intrigue a producer? How do I get people engaged in my movies? I'm going to tell you, a lot of it comes from deep character insight. So, and that brings us to this question. How can you think and create like the best character writers, right? And it's like, just creating characters that you like isn't enough. And it's like where most people go is I've actually had lots of people say this. Well, I love my characters. Why don't they? Or they'll say, isn't it enough that I love the characters? If I love them, maybe they will. I don't think this movie and this scene that we just saw was written from that perspective. It was written from how can we go deeper than people can imagine at this moment? How can we discover things that they don't see, right? And so that's part of the question here. Part of it comes down to, creating great characters is about combining creativity, design, and expression, right? This is kind of the normal thing that people think, and I totally agree with it. I also think there's something beneath that. In order to really accomplish that and make them truly great characters, you need to look deeper. And it's kind of hard when you get to a point where you go, but I love these characters the way they are. It's kind of hard to look deeper unless you kind of step outside that box. You need to be able to analyze great character moments. Like going through and analyzing this, I saw things that I hadn't even seen when I watched it in the theater. I saw things I haven't seen having watched this movie 6 or 7 times. Because I was trying to look deeper. I was trying to discover something under the surface. And ultimately, because of that, I had some breakthroughs in some other projects that I'm working on at the present moment. And that's really, to me, what this is about. If you can look deep, if you can analyze great character moments, and if you can discover breakthroughs, that things that maybe if you've watched that scene 10 times, you still haven't yet seen, those breakthroughs, those will change your writing, right? So we kept asking this question, we kept wondering, how could we create this? Now, I just want to give you some quick things to know. This moment, what made this moment great was the writing, right? People can say, well, Heath Ledger was an amazing actor. And I'm going to say what made the acting great absolutely was Heath Ledger. He was incredible. I wish he was still with us, because at the level at which he did this, I would have loved to seen what came next. But it's the writing that gave him something to play, that gave him something astounding, right? If you're dependent upon actors to be able to make your writing great, that's not going to work, because the actors may choose to interpret it in a different way, or they may have a different director, or they may, they may bring on an actor who doesn't even get this or says the lines in a completely bland way. You need the writing to be incredible. The other thing was there's serious depth to this writing, serious depth. And that meant somebody looked under the surface and found things that we hadn't seen or thought before. They found things inside that relationship that hadn't been revealed in any comic book. And it totally makes sense when you see it. The other thing to know is you can write characters and scenes like this. You may already have written some, but the question is, how do you become truly great at it? Now, I think here's how much I think this is worth exploring. I created a class that is like no other class you've ever been in. This one I had to, first I had an amazing development team, but second, I had to go into some of the deepest design I've ever done. I've created programs for over 100 corporations back when I was doing corporate training. I have created over 40 screenwriting classes. This one is like no other. Its whole purpose is to get you to the point where you live on that level, to be able to create incredible characters that actors, directors, and audiences will love, right? It's the big thing about this is creating characters from deep insights, not just from what comes to you, right? If you're creating from what comes to you, that's an early draft, right? Whatever pops into your mind, that's great. And if it's creative and if you love it, spectacular. But if you're going to create like this, if you want to be one of those writers that can create at a level that other writers are envious of, that they're astounded by, it's going to take a whole different way of thinking, right? So we started out with that. What I wanted to do was to be able to give writers the ability to generate deep insights at will. That was my objective with this program. And by the way, people who have been through it tell us we accomplished that. But let me show you what it'll do. In this class, you'll do what I just did. You will analyze great characters every day of the class. It's 5 days a week for a month. So during that period of time, you're going to work with characters from 20 different perspectives. Now let's pause right there so you can see this. First, you're going to be doing what I just did, right? If you looked at this whole thing and you went, oh, wow, there was some interesting stuff in there that I didn't notice, that's what you're going to be doing. And by the way, if you didn't see anything interesting that I didn't notice, you're either already A-list or you may be tricking yourself, which now would give you maybe an insight into you. But what I'm going to tell you is every time you analyze one of these characters, we're going to present great characters in great situations, in ones that are specifically designed for you to be able to discover something new. Every time you analyze one of these scenes, you are going to be doing it from a completely different perspective as the previous. Most people think of characters like in 3 or 4 different ways. By the time we're done, you will have 20 different perspectives on creating great characters. This means you will see any scene from multiple perspectives that the producer isn't seeing, that the director might not be seeing, that other writers aren't seeing. I can tell you that. Just go read for any contest and you won't see this depth until you get to the very top of that contest. And you won't see this level of depth, 20 different perspectives, probably on any of them. This will change how you look at characters, how you create characters. The other thing that'll happen is this. You will have regular insights and breakthroughs. Now, let me tell you, you just saw it in this scene. Writing from insights and breakthroughs is so much deeper than just trying to write from character. It is so much deeper. It makes the difference as to whether the scene is really good or absolutely great, right? It makes the difference as to whether the scene is something that people just go, oh yeah, okay, what's next? Or something that's so good that I'm analyzing it and other people out there are analyzing it and people are wondering about it and thinking about it and talking about it, right? These insights and breakthroughs will not only change the character, but you'll build those into your current script. They will also change who you are as a writer. With every step that you take during this program, every analysis you do, every perspective you work with, you will have insights and breakthroughs because that's what this program is about. And those insights and breakthroughs, every one of them will make you a better character writer. So if you're at a point where your characters are really good, congratulations, that's absolutely great. Now this is what it takes to take them to great. If you're at a point where you're just kind of starting, maybe you've written 1 or 2 screenplays, this will save you most of the work that people have done who have written 5 to 10 screenplays. You will jump above other writers almost instantly coming out of this program because you see things they don't see, because you understand things they don't understand. Remember, when you think about the great artist, it was all based on their insight. They were seeing things that other people didn't see. They were able to create things that people spent years trying to understand afterwards because there was so much depth. So that's what this program is about. It's one of my favorite programs. I've watched people go from being good at character to having absolutely astounding characters. We've had multiple people who have gone through this that have had producers and managers say they love their characters. Let me give you the dates real fast. This program starts on May 15th. It's a 30-day program. You're going to be doing Monday through Friday each week. And during that period of time, every single day, you're going to have some kind of insights or breakthroughs. You're going to see characters in a different way. It'll make a huge difference. The normal price on it is $199. Let me give you a special. This is for the first 20 people who sign up. You can get in at $129. So first 20 get in at $129. The next the next group up then gets in, I think it's at $159, and then after that it goes to $199. But I promise you, whatever price you end up paying at this, it will change how you write characters. It'll make you so much stronger, and it'll give you a much better chance when you start putting scripts in contest, or if you start putting them out to producers or managers. All you got to do is go up to this link right here. It says sign up at bit.ly/character mastery. So again, bit.ly/character mastery. Just write that down, put it in your browser where you normally put a web address, click return, and sign up to join us. This program, this is one of those programs that if you don't do, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what would have happened if I would have done it. Because you got to ask yourself, what happens if you could get to the point where you could double the depth of your characters, where you could come in with characters that astound people rather than them just saying, wow, I really like your characters, right? What would happen if, even from the very first scene, like if you look at this movie, from the first scene, we're seeing an incredible character. We are seeing really interesting decisions that he's making. It's coming from somebody having some serious insights and breakthroughs about that character. Just remember this, there is a huge difference between writing from, hey, here's what I know about my character, versus writing from deep insights and breakthroughs about that character. So this is about taking your characters to a whole different level. It's about taking every character you've ever written to a new level. It's about taking every character you ever write from now on to a new level. I promise you, this is worth it at any of these prices. So jump in right now, get that special price. You're going to love going through this program. You're going to love what you learn from it. It will make a significant change for you. With that, listen, I want to say thank you guys for being with me today, being here with me. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot out of it. And I promise you, going through this program will make a significant shift for you. This is Hal Croasmun with Screenwriting U. I'm wishing you the best. Bye-bye, everyone.